Very quick one today, folks. Tomorrow's video should be a little bit better. I need to do some research. Tomorrow's video is a bit more good news, to be fair. It's about an imminent signing West Ham are going to make, a player I'm excited about, and a player looks very, very good. So, as I say, I need to do a little bit more research so as I can at least give you some information about it. And that will be tomorrow. Today is Stadium. Again, I'm afraid the one story that really took my attention was the fact that we're struggling to get a naming rights partner for the stadium. When I say we, I mean the stadium operator, the stadium management company. As you all know, be it the Rico Arena or Sports Direct Dome or whatever Mike Ashley's calling St James's Park these days, you get money, you get more money by naming your stadium. Now, this is a really, really big deal for West Ham because the stadium is making such a huge loss. Just to tell you how it worked, the first £4 million of any deal that we potentially get, the stadium keep. That's part of our agreement. That's part of our lease agreement, tenancy agreement, whatever you want to call it. Everything after 4 million, as I understand it, we split 50-50 with the LLDC or whatever they're calling themselves now. So you would think they'd be desperate to get this 4 million plus pounds in, particularly bearing in mind, as I reported the other day in the Golden Sullivan video, the ground's making losses of upwards of 20 million a season. Now, I'll get to something else in a minute because actually it's worse than that for this season. It's actually going to be close to 30 million. I'll get to that in a minute. But they seem to be trying to conduct these negotiations with one hand tied behind their back. And the reason they're doing that is because they've released some stipulations. And the stipulations are that basically it can't be a gambling company, it can't be alcohol. I think there's a couple of others. So they want to try and have some sort of moral compass, I think, in terms of the naming rights. The trouble is, beggars can't be choosers. As I understand it, they've asked Karen Brady to help them get a stadium sponsor. And regardless of what you think of Karen Brady, she is an experienced person in this sort of thing. She's a tough negotiator. I think anybody that saw her when she was brought forward in the Commons Select Committee, when basically she got grilled by all those MPs, she was surrounded by a table of MPs and she basically ate them for breakfast. Very, very tough negotiator. Very, very good at what she does. As I say, whether you like her or loathe her, she is good at that. To actually charge her with getting you a sponsorship package, and then basically tie one hand behind their back and say, oh, well, it can't be that, and it can't be that, and it can't be that. I mean, I think we saw it once with UNICEF. Barcelona had UNICEF on their shirts because Barcelona could do that. They're a mega, mega rich club. I do believe Randy Lerner at some point at Aston Villa, I think for a year, he gave the shirt sponsorship to a hospice, which is a very, very nice thing to do, an absolutely lovely thing to do. Not financially viable in the stadium operator situation because they're losing £25 million a year. They can't afford to. So what it does at a single stroke is West Ham's partner is Betway. Now, I don't know what Betway's balance sheet is, but I would imagine that might be quite attractive to them to actually, they're sponsoring West Ham to actually sponsor the Betway Stadium. Basically, the Olympic Stadium is called the Betway Stadium. Bearing in mind nobody else is willing to do it, I think Vodafone have flirted with the idea, Tesco have flirted with the idea, and there was another company whose name escapes me. But no one wants to do it. So I don't know what money they want to get. But let's say it was 6 million a year. Probably not an awful lot for Betway to do. But Betway can't do that now because the stadium have said, no betting companies. That would be the natural partner, wouldn't it? That would be the natural fit. Also, if you go there on match days, the stadium is absolutely emblazoned and festooned with Heineken. Now, why not put the tender out to Heineken? Well, they can't do that now. And here's where there's a little bit of a contradiction because they're not fooling anyone. Heineken is all round the stadium anyway. By calling it the Heineken Stadium, not that I want it to be the Heineken Stadium, by the way, but it's just to use it as an example. By calling it the Heineken, by not calling it the Heineken Stadium, they're saying, oh, we reject the idea of alcohol. Well, you don't, because you're selling tons of it in the place anyway, and there's Heineken signs absolutely everywhere. It's the same as Betway signs absolutely everywhere. You're fooling nobody. You might as well take the money because you're making huge losses. And here's the other point. I said upwards of 20 million. I believe last year the loss was 25 million. This year it's going to be closer to 30. And the reason it's going to be closer to 30 is because we hosted a baseball game there. I say we because I feel we have some part to play in the stadium. It's not obviously we, it's a stadium operator. Far from the the baseball being a success, it made a loss. It cost them $5 million to convert the stadium. Apparently they brought loads of turf over, and mud and soil. They brought soil over from the States. Apparently the soil in this country is not good enough. I don't know. Soil, surely. Maybe if you're not growing stuff, but you know what I mean. It had to be a special kind of soil. Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm being flippant about it. Maybe you do have to have this particular special soil to play baseball on. But the very fact that you do makes it not financially viable. That means we can't host baseball there. If that's losing $5 million, it's ridiculous. And I do believe that, there's some things they want to build the game. So we had the Rugby World Cup there. There's some rugby games are played there. Didn't really make an awful lot of money, but it's a one-off, it's fine. You convert the stadium, you hold a number of games there, it's fine. But for a one-off baseball match, it's not working. It's making a loss anyway. I guess the concerts possibly turn over a small profit, but it's making huge, huge losses. And I think particularly the baseball was a bit of a vanity project. I don't know what's going on. There's some sort of dynamic. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, really pushed that deal forward. And as we know, him and Karen Brady don't get on at all. There's a massive clash between the two of them. So was that, I don't know, was that a twist of the knife? Was that a vanity project on his part? Clearly, it wasn't done for profit. Clearly, it wasn't done to build the game, because there'll be one or two people watching this video who like baseball, but there's not going to be hundreds of you, because it's just not taken off in this country. I think they tried it in Japan. It's not really taken off in an awful lot of countries, to be fair. It's a sport that thrives in America. It's extremely successful. That failed. And I just can't see how much longer they can continue to make these losses year upon year upon year. West Ham get all the bad press because our deal is so good, because our tenancy and our rent is so cheap. This is all ratcheted up to us owning the stadium. I just think we're looking to make the stadium operator and the stadium so skint that they turn around to us and say, you better have it. They can't take it off of us. We've got a watertight, whatever it might be now, 96-year lease remaining on it. I think we're getting the stadium. I think that was the end game all the way along. Watch this space.